for my drunken scream rant by my own drunken puke rant. Here I was, in Night's Inn parking lot in San Antonio at 3 in the morning, hanging outside the open van door and vomiting while screaming about being poisoned. Standing on the other side of me, giggling like 10-year-old boys at a penis saying contest, was my bandmate Chris and our road manager, Bobo. This was the first night of the tour. And everyone knows the classic rookie mistake is to go too hard on the first night of the tour. I know better than that. Or at least I thought I did up until the moment in the motel parking lot. When we arrived at the venue that night, we had all enjoyed a hearty stout to kick the night off, but Chris and I switched to sipping Lone Star Tall Boys at a leisurely pace before we had to, play. It was Bobo who had another one, then 2, then 3 more heavy beers. So by the time he made the switch to something lighter, it didn't matter anymore. In no time, Bobo drank away his inhibitions and was doing his best to court a young lady sitting at the bar. We watched him talk to her for several minutes before bringing her over to the merch table where Chris and I were. Manning the merch table was Bobo's job, but we decided to allow him a temporary reprieve if love or the next best thing happened to be in the cards. After introducing us to her, no, I don't remember her name, Bobo announced that we should all do shots, and that he was buying. He turned to go to the bar, but put me off to the side for a moment for a powwow. Hey, are you gonna go outside and smoke again soon? By smoke, he meant smoke weed, but Bobo didn't smoke weed, which is why I found it strange that he would be asking. I don't know, I replied absently. Soon, soonish, now, I don't know. Why do you care anyway? Because she smokes too, said Bobo, not so subtly gesturing over at his new friend. I told her she could come out back with us and smoke. Is that cool? At that moment, Bobo's eyes held such hope that I would have to be a seriously cold-hearted, cock-blocking bastard to turn down his request. Plus, I'm always down to get high, so win-win. I put my arm around Bobo and pulled him in close like a proud papa sending his boy off to his first day of school. Bobo, that's totally cool. Now, go get those shots and we'll all take a walk. 2 shakes later, Bobo was back with the shots of Jameson, sporting a shit-eating grin. After we pounded the shots, I announced that we would be going out back to smoke, and she was welcome to join us. Chris and I went out the stage door, which led to an alleyway behind the club, where we parked. I jumped in the van and began loading a bowl in my travel pipe to get us started. A moment later, Bobo and the young lady burst into the alley, holding 4 more shot glasses that were glowing in the dark. This can't be good, said Chris as they approached. The 2 sauntered up to us with the relaxed confidence that alcohol often bestows upon its victims. And Bobo thrust a day-glow yellow mystery shot into each of our hands. Hey guys, he said, nodding at the girl. She bought shots for us all. What is this? Asked Chris, sniffing the rim of his glass. It's called a zombie. She said. It's the house shot. Just drink it and stop being a pussy, said Bobo, extending his glass for us all to cheers. Whatever this concoction was, it burned, and not like a regular shot burns either. This didn't just burn my mouth, it burned my teeth. My brain, knowing something wasn't right, begged me to spit it out, but I denied the reflex. The mystery liquid burned away a layer of my esophagus as it blazed a fiery path to my stomach. Chris and I burst into a coughing fit while the two potential lovebirds gulped it down like a baby does warm milk. Their drunkenness rendered them immune to the shot's powerful burn. And that nasty bit of unpleasantness behind us, I took a long, slow hit off my pipe in an attempt to ease the burning and pass it to the girl. We all talked casually about where else we would be headed from here and other meaningless anecdotal things, still trying my best to shine a light on Bobo. You know, as a good wingman should. We quickly sucked that bowl down, and I loaded another one, and then another one, and then one more after that. Satisfactorily stoned, the girl and Bobo scampered off back into the club, leaving Chris and I alone at the van. Well, I said, putting my pipe away and stepping out of the van, I think we're doing the Lord's work here. The rest is up to Bobo. Yep, agreed Chris, watching the door close behind him. You guys smoked a lot. You gonna be cool? Me? Oh, yeah, man. I feel totally great right now. It was as if the combination of words I just said were also coincidentally some kind of ancient evil incantation. And I had inadvertently cast a dark and sinister spell upon myself. From out of nowhere, I was hit with the spins. So bad I lost my ability to balance. My mouth got dry, then hot, then dry again. And bile slowly crept up my throat and made itself comfortable atop my tongue. I leaned against the van to try and get my bearings back, but it was not happening. Actually, dude, I said, struggling to open the door of the van again, I'm not feeling too great right now. I pulled myself into the back seat and squeezed my eyes shut tight to try and stave off what I believed had turned into full-blown vertigo. I focused on trying to breathe and not throw up. But at this point, even I knew I was just prolonging the inevitable. Go get Bobo! I said, trying to curl up into myself. We gotta leave! But what about Bobo and that chick? Fuck Bobo and that chick! I said, swallowing hard to keep the contents of my stomach in place. He's gonna fuck it up anyway! So, just go get him! I gotta get out of here! I hated to be so curt and unwingman-like, but this was DEFCON 5 type of situation. Chris returned with Bobo a few minutes later, and they got in the van laughing. What's wrong, man? He asked mockingly. Not feeling too good. Bobo, shut the fuck up. I said with my eyes still closed. Chris, drive. As we set off into the San Antonio Night-Defying Lodge, and I went into a limbo state that most would refer to as blacking out. But this was more of a concentrated effort to trick my mind into forgetting I was fucked up. I came to after being jostled when the van hit a bump and quickly realized I was going to be sick. I pulled my t-shirt up over my mouth in an attempt to non-verbally communicate to Bobo, who was looking at me in the rearview mirror from the front seat. Unfortunately, he did not receive the message in time, and I heaved a mouthful of hot, slimy puke into my front of my shirt and down my chest. Bobo jumped out laughing and opened the door for me so I could continue heaving fluorescent yellow vomit out into the parking lot. That bitch tried to poison me! That bitch tried! Needless to say, it wasn't much longer before I was passed out for the night after allegedly eating several tacos Chris and Bobo went to get that may or may not have been meant for me. I woke up the next morning feeling like $1 million, but my cohorts, unfortunately, were feeling like a bunk 25 at best. Apparently, I'd suffered the brunt of the poisoning that night, but Chris and Bobo were clearly experiencing it now. They crawled from the tiny motel bed they'd shared the night before and gave me the short version of how the rest of the night went after I made my hasty exit from consciousness. Apparently, neither of them were able to escape the curse of the zombie shot, and they puked their guts out for most of the night. Chris told me that Bobo passed out on the bathroom floor while hugging the toilet, which is where he spent the majority of the night. They cursed me for being so chipper and vibrant in the face of their miserable suffering. I hurried the hungover shells of their former selves along as the 11 a.m. checkout time was quickly approaching. We picked up coffee and bagels once we got on the road with hope that the bread would soak up any remaining trace of the offending substance in Chris and Bobo's system. It sounded like a good idea at the time, but 15 minutes later, I pulled over on the side of I-35 so Bobo could furiously vomit fantastically impressive waterfalls of bright canary yellow liquid across the Great Texas Highway. Chris rushed to get him water from the back of the van while I pulled out my phone and filmed the whole thing. While laughing hysterically, of course. I told you that bitch poisoned us. I told you.